catastrophic point of no return.
Climate records being set.
In recent years, the Earth's oceans have become the epicenter of a silent crisis, one that threatens not only our environment, but our very way of life. The journey to this point began centuries ago with the dawn of the Industrial Age, when humanity's thirst for progress set off a chain of events that would alter the course of our planet's history forever. As greenhouse gases filled the atmosphere, the Earth's temperature began to rise, and with it, the oceans warmed, setting off a cascade of consequences that we're only just beginning to comprehend. The climate crisis is getting a lot of attention lately, but hold on! 1.5 degrees by 2027? That doesn't sound like much, right? Well, for the first time ever, global warming has caused the oceans to warm up by 1.5 degrees Celsius in just 1 year. We already passed the crucial 1.5 degree limit agreed upon in the Paris Climate Accord? We expected this milestone to be reached in a few years or even a decade from now. What's going on? According to data from NASA and the EPA, the oceans have absorbed an unprecedented amount of heat in recent years, with the oceans absorbing approximately 14 zetajoules between 2020 and 2021 alone. This is equal to 145 times the world electricity generation. To put that into perspective, that's equivalent to the energy released by over 222 million Hiroshima bombs, or, as described by Professor John Abram of the University of St. Thomas, quote, 7 atomic bombs detonating each second, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. By the way, hear that sound? Each tick would be a bomb, detonating in the ocean. But the impact of this ocean warming goes far beyond just rising temperatures. Coral reefs, the vibrant underwater cities that support a quarter of all marine life, are bleaching and dying at an alarming rate. Coral bleaching is when environmental stressors such as increased water temperature or pollution can cause coral to expel the symbiotic algae which causes them to lose their vibrant colors. And if the temperature doesn't go back down, the coral will never let the algae back in. Eventually, this kills the coral, leaving the white skeleton behind. One of the most significant casualties of ocean warming is water-based cultures that have thrived for centuries along the world's coastlines. From indigenous communities in the Pacific Islands like the Kiribati people, who are deeply intertwined with the sea, relying on it not just for food, but also for their spiritual and cultural practices. However, as the oceans warm and sea levels rise, these communities are facing an existential threat, with their traditional way of life hanging in the balance.
Of the sea level rise, some like the homeless care, but
and so that is culminating in the reduction of the precious land that we have. There are also aspects of climate change effects which directly impact on our traditional knowledge, which in the end may get lost because of that. So that is what we're worried about, that we will lose important aspects of our culture. And in the long term, it may become necessary for us to evacuate these islands, in which case there will be a wholesale loss of culture, which I think to me is a loss to humankind as well.
The disruption of global trade routes and the destabilization of economies due to extreme weather events will have a profound social and political implication, impacting everything from international trade relations to cultural exchange. Meanwhile, the melting ice caps are causing sea levels to rise, increasing the frequency and severity of coastal flooding and displacing communities around the world. As the weather systems of our planet are based on ocean temperatures, as those ocean temperatures rise, the severity of the storms created rise with it, and developing nations such as Costa Rica, Mexico, and Brazil will be hit hard in the coming years by intense tropical storms and hurricanes that will ravage their coast, making it even harder for them to become developed nations. So, where do we go from here? As the European Union confirmed that we have breached the 1.5 degree ocean warming threshold, it's clear that we are at a critical point in our fight against climate change. Governments must reevaluate their commitments and take urgent action to reduce emissions and transition to renewable energy sources. The road ahead will not be easy, but the cost of inaction is far greater than the challenges we face today. We stand on the brink of a new era. The fate of our planet is in the balance. But there's still hope. By coming together as a global community and taking decisive action to address the root causes of ocean warming, we can build a brighter future for generations to come. The choice is ours to make, and the time to act is now.